Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, March 10th of 2022. It's a pretty sunny morning here on the Holy Ghost Prep campus. We have a lot to get to. Welcome to Firebird's Morning News. I'm David Shapansky.
And I'm Santino DeRose.
Well, as I said, we do have a lot to get to, and that's true. But the big story today is the Flyers Cup quarterfinals against Father Judge. Santino, are you pumped?
I'm very excited. This is going to be potentially a really good game. I've talked about it last week that Judge could have a strong showing. Ghost has been having a solid year overall. I would like to see a good battle tonight, and hopefully Ghost moves on against, I think, Malvern. If they win.
Yeah, so this is the quarterfinals. Puck drop will be at 6 o'clock at Hatfield Arena. It's about 40 minutes from here, but there is good news, Santino. We talked about it last week. Free should get everybody excited. There's a free fan bus leaving from the Fieldhouse parking lot at 4:30. I have a confession. I will be on it. So if you wanna stop. Only kidding.
Great confession.
But yeah, so 4:30 p.m. You can come on the free bus. Talk to Mr. Conlon to get signed up. There's a link on Schoology somewhere, and you can find it. But
guys, definitely show up. It's a great chance. It potentially could be the last time we see the Ghost hockey team win this year, and I think it would be great to show up for the guys.
I wouldn't say that, Santino. We're gonna beat Malvern.
Potentially, I don't know. Malvern's been showing us up all year round.
Well, we'll first focus on Father Judge, but it was great last time because at Grundy we completely outnumbered them, and they left by the end of the first period if it was even over. So it was fantastic. All right. Funny? We always need funny, Santino.
Always need funny.
We need funny.
Always.
All right. Well, we have our funny expert going to join us. Nobody else than Dr. Pollock, everybody.
Dr. Pollock. It's been a while since we've seen you on the show, Dr. Pollock.
I know. I missed the last show because I was actually at a yard sale.
Okay.
Yeah, I was at a yard sale during the last, taping of the news, and I found a radio, and it was on sale, $1, stuck on full volume. And I was like, well, that's a deal I can't turn down.
You can't turn it down.
All right, I get it.
I actually enjoyed that one a little bit. I got it. Dr. Pollock,
that one was
I
good.
enjoyed that one.
That was good. That was very good.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Pollock.
I knew that had to be part of it because I knew, he was coming on with yard sale, and I was going to interrupt it. It was be like, you were on a hiatus, but then he started to get to the yard sale, and I was like, all right, we're just going to go for it. You never know what's going to happen, and we trust Dr. Pollock with our funny jokes.
You never know. Sometimes I think he's legitimately serious, and then I'm like, oh wait, this is a joke, and then I'm getting ready for the punchline. I don't know.
All right. Well, next up we have our very own movie reviewer here on the Holy Ghost Prep campus. Nobody else, a student, going to join us. James Samuel, everybody.
James Samuel. Buddy.
All right, so James, make sure to speak loud. But if you don't know, James has kind of this alter ego, the Critic27 on Instagram. There's a couple underscores in there, and I'm not really sure where they're going to go because I don't use underscores. But you could tell us, I'm sure, and you will. But James is here today to talk about the Batman movie, which I will know nothing about. So Santino and James are going to kind of lead this segment a little bit with Batman. But yeah, so kind of overall thoughts, and then Santino can kind of give his.
Yeah, sure. So I was lucky enough to see it last Thursday on opening night, and I gotta say it was really phenomenal. Exceeded all expectations. Robert Pattinson was a great Batman, I think. Everything from the cinematography was beautiful, score was beautiful. It almost takes a horror aspect to it as well. It's pretty haunting when you get into it, and it's truly an interesting experience.
I have to totally agree. And for me, something that's really interesting that I really love is a Batman fan from the comics. It's very true to the source material.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
I think that's something that's awesome that we haven't really seen in many years.
It definitely gets more into Batman's detective work than any other movie has. And it's interesting to see it take from all different comics. It starts out sort of like The Long Halloween, and it gets into all different ones. It's really interesting.
Actually, for me, something that I really enjoyed, it actually reminded me of the old Batman the Animated Series sometimes. It gave me that type of feel. It was really good. But I have a question for you. We saw Michael Keaton's Batman 89, and of course, Christian Bale's Dark Knight's Batman, and even Ben Affleck's portrayal recently. With Robert Pattinson, who would be your favorite Batman?
So it's a tough call for me between Christian Bale and Robert Pattinson, I think.
Adam West.
R.I.P. Adam West.
I think Robert Pattinson...
farts.
I will say Robert Pattinson definitely gives the most interesting and nuanced performance as Batman. of any of the actors. But favorite, I'm still kind of deciding.
Okay, all right. Well, that's great to hear. Thank you, James.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously that whole time there should have been just crickets from my end because I knew nothing about that. But obviously, I mean, you love movies, you know, as much as I love baseball, one could probably say.
Yep.
So we're going to get there. I promise we're going to talk about the lockout. It will not end. This will not end before we talk about kind of current events. But how did you kind of get into kind of the movie scene and create your Instagram page, which is now almost at 800 followers?
Yeah. So I think we were all bored during the COVID lockdowns. I guess that was 2 summers ago now, right? So I was really just bored, and I started watching a bunch of movies that my dad was like, "You need to have seen these, like, as a person." So I really just started. I started putting reviews out on my normal Instagram, and people were like, "You should do another account for this. You should make something out of this." So I was like, "All right." I started doing reviews, and it's really just evolved from there.
Wow.
That's awesome, actually. That's really interesting.
Thank you.
That's something great as like an icebreaker at college. You can say like, you know, I started this big Instagram page about movies. So do you want to plug your merch, your channel, your
my Instagram page is _critic_27. You can find all my reviews there, including my full review of the Batman. Yeah.
And that will have spoilers to a certain extent.
There is a spoiler warning towards the beginning.
Yeah, so we wanted to avoid spoilers here on the show. Absolutely. All right, James. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, James.
For joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Well, next up, the first thing before I introduce our next guest is I want to say we are growing our live audience in here, everybody. It's a very small room that we filmed this in, but we've had the American flag has joined us. We're going to get some more things. Santino has done a great job with decorating. But we have a lot of producers, a lot of people that help us out in the scene. All 3 of them are here, and 2 of them are going to join us here on the show today. Mr. Galay will get in there eventually. But before we get to Mr. Jordan, Profe is going to join us.
Hey! I mean, I have to start this out with hola, Profe.
Hola, wow. The chair's really low.
I know, I realized
I'm
I
really
the
low to
collar
begin
sat
with.
down.
That's okay.
So Profe is one of our Spanish teachers here at Holy Ghost, and I came to her with the idea of starting this, and she was all for it, as she's all for everything. I probably spend a majority of my time in her room. So I was in AP Spanish in the beginning of the year.
Very briefly.
Very briefly. A lot of work, of course, with broadcasting and stuff like that, but I still join her class, AP Spanish, like kind of like I never left.
This is a true
Yeah, and sit there and either study for other classes or, you know, monitor the MLB lockout like yesterday. But yeah, so Profe is joining us. She's also a big part of our world language clubs here on campus. So we just had a Mardi Gras celebration last week.
Yes, we did.
So talk a little bit about that and how I did not get any of the wonderful king cake.
Well, that is just bad timing on your part, but I can speak to the World Language Department has done a lot this year, and that's a big part to Senora Wirtz, who is enthusiastic, is dynamic, and is a big personality, and really just brings a lot of her energy into what we do. So I do have to give a big shout out to her. So last week we celebrated, Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, or Carnaval is what we call it, for the Spanish speakers. And that really consisted of lots of food, king cake that Dave did not get, but it was fantastic. And thank you to everyone who came out. We had it in the corridor in Cornwall, 2nd floor, and we had a big presence there. So we're always very appreciative of everyone coming out to join us. So that was probably one of our biggest events that we've had so far.
Yeah.
So we do have 2 more celebrations coming up in the spring, if you can believe it. So Easter, we're hoping to do some unique traditions from that event. Not necessarily food, but a fun activity that I don't want to give it away, so you'll have to come and show up to see what it actually is. But Cinco de Mayo is going to be the big one, gentlemen. All the food that you can dream of, all the dulce de leche, arroz con leche, and then some tamales and the piñatas outside in the courtyard, but we have even a bigger surprise. This is going to be the biggest event yet.
Whoa.
So stay tuned.
Hold on to your seats, everybody.
Stay tuned. It's going to be wild.
Dave, you got to make sure you get there on time this time.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it was on the 2nd floor of Cornwell's, and that's where Profe's room is, our main building here on campus. And when I tell you I come up the steps, and I'm expecting, I'm just going to go get some king cake. I'm going to get beads. When I tell you the mob of people that
Yep.
was just swarmed around Profe's room was just humongous, and hopefully
Right.
that will continue to grow as we have some events coming up. So I'm excited.
Right. Exactly right.
Sounds very exciting, Profe.
All right, so let's get to Firebird Frenzy,
All right, let's
our
do it.
60-second segment dedicated to pretty much this or that questions. Mr. Goulet is going to keep track of the timer, so thank you to him for that. All right, Santino, you're just going to have them at the top of your head, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to use a website here.
Smart like that, guys.
ConversationStartersWorld.com. It's a great website. All right, here we go. Santino, get us started.
Where is your favorite place that you've traveled to before?
Peru.
Peru.
Peru, hands down.
All right, so this one is a theme of today. At a movie, candy or popcorn?
Neither.
What is it then?
Pretzels.
Okay.
Pretzels, yeah.
All right, there we go.
Favorite subject to learn in school?
History.
History. Ooh.
Yeah.
Pancake or waffle?
Pancake.
Hot or cold?
Cold.
Train or plane?
Plain.
Blue or red?
Red. Always Firebirds, gentlemen. Come on. now.
Santino's usual question. Ocean or mountains?
Mountains.
David or Santino?
Both.
Both.
Can't choose both. It's not like that.
Oh, man.
All right.
I plead the fifth.
Super sandwich.
I thought you said super sandwich, and I said, what's the other choice? Sandwich.
That's a great. Oh, we're done?
All right.
We out of time?
Go ahead, Santino. Say one more.
No, we're out of time.
Oh,
We're out
you
of
wanna
time.
end it there?
Yeah, we're out of time,
All
guys.
right. All right. Well, Profe, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
joining us. We really appreciate it as always.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, as we move down the line with our audiences here, our in-house audiences, we're coming up here on 12 minutes. We still have more, though, to get to here today. Let's get to the trivia question of the day, because everybody's waiting for it. The baseball cards are somewhere. We don't have them on the desk today, but I promise they are somewhere.
Under that paper.
They're under a paper, but we'll get them to you. So there are 3 more baseball cards to give to, which were donated from the bundle from the freshman, Jack Dobbins. So in honor of International Women's Day, which was the other day, we had Profe join us, and we're also going to have a trivia question dedicated to women. So here we go. Let's get things started. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up, everybody. Mr. Goulet does a great job with getting our questions together here. All right, Santino is going to be kind of our
Showing them off.
our
for you
Vanna
kids.
White. All right, here we go. Who was the first female artist to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100? The first female artist to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. You have 90 seconds. If no one gets it, the cards will be held over to next week. All right, let's get to some announcements, Santino.
Dave, you want to start them off? I was too busy looking pretty.
All right, you're
No,
good.
I got it.
All right, good. Get us started.
Seniors, update your score account with your outcomes. We also need scholarships, so please bring them to your counselor. Email them to your counselor, whatever works best. We need that scholarship information. Thanks. A bunch of capitals.
All right, from Forensics and Mr. McGee, national qualifiers are heading to Washington, D.C., and some of these students include Santino DeRose, our very own Santino,
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Mike Lucas, and Cole Rosini. We wish them the best of luck as they head to states and NSDA. I have no idea what that stands for, but national qualifiers over the next 2 weeks.
This is from robotics. This Saturday, robotics state championship is in Norristown. The HDP robotics team is qualified for 4 separate robotics events. 2 built by all freshman members and 2 built by seniors. This event will qualify a few local teams to the robotics world championship in Dallas, Texas. Good luck to the team and go robots.
All right. So that's our announcements for today. We still have more to get to, but I just want to say if you're a teacher, faculty member, even a student, and you think there's something that we need to bring up here on the show and we haven't already, feel free to email Santino or I, or if you see us in the hallways, you can always ask us, and we'll be more than welcome to. So.
I mean, we are the news, guys.
We are the only news source here on the Holy Ghost Prep campus. All right, we have a winner, Dominic DiFrancesco. There's no surprise.
A previous guest. Oh my goodness.
There's no surprise to Dom getting it. He is a musical genius, so I'm not surprised with him getting that. All right, let's give the answer before, because I know I forgot to do that once and I didn't hear the end of it. All right. And it was my fault. So, all right. The correct answer, again, the question was, who was the first female artist to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100? It was Connie Francis. Connie Francis was the correct answer. All right. So we have like 5 more minutes left in this period. So we got to get rushed here.
We got to get going, Dave. Come on.
All right,
The fire drill didn't help at all.
Our last guest today is another one of our producers. Mr. Jordan is going to join us.
Mr. Jordan.
So this is the debut of a new segment that kind of happened at 9:59, to be honest with you. But I love the idea, and it is a show and tell. So I'm excited to see what Mr. Jordan has brought us here. He's wearing a Phillies 5K shirt, and he has something interesting in his hand. So, all right, go ahead, Mr. Jordan.
Yes, this is a signed Yankees, autographed all the team members of 1947 Yankees. World Series champions over the Brooklyn Dodgers in 7 games. So.
All right.
Oh my goodness. I'm like scared
I'll
to even
kind of
touch
show it up
that.
to the camera here. So
Wow.
1947 Yankees team here. Of course, not my favorite team.
Yeah, watch out.
But-
That's kryptonite.
It's kryptonite.
That is really cool, and you can see how it has mud or rubbed up of some sorts, it looks like, on it, to a
Joe
certain extent.
DiMaggio
So.
was the big name on there.
Wow.
He won
Wow.
the MVP, yeah.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, so Phil Rizzuto used to do announcements for the Yankees, and a man named Larry Burra, rookie year, until the nickname Yogi started to catch on. I don't know how he got that. He's on here. So I took this to get it sold, actually, this weekend. I went to it's a Yankees baseball. I don't need this. But my dad gave it to me. My dad passed it on to me. I have no idea how he got it, because he was a total Phillies fan. Maybe he stole it from a Yankees fan. Anyway, so he got it and passed it on to me. I took it this weekend to King of Prussia, to the Baseball Expo, where people like Pete Rose and Mike Schmidt and a whole bunch of other football and baseball stars were signing things that people were bringing. I never knew this was like a thing, as big a thing as it was. So I had my baseball and I brought it there to get it appraised. And they told me it was worth $650.
Okay.
So
All right. Well,
I was like, I'm going to get that authenticated. You have to get it authenticated.
absolutely.
So you take it, it's like, I don't know how they do it. They like put the ball in, I don't know how do you authenticate an old baseball?
It's a fantastic question.
It must be some technology that does this.
Some new
So
technology.
I went back. I had to spend 3 hours
Okay.
right below the Valley Forge Casino, great
Okay.
place, and watched Villanova beat
Oh.
Butler. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Go Cats.
Quality hours spent.
All right.
Then I came back, and the guy, I didn't know how any of this worked. I was like, are they going to buy it from me? And they were just like, we think it's going to pass. You'll get a letter in a month. And for that, gave them $150 to authenticate the ball. And so I'm going to get that letter hopefully in the mail in a month, because otherwise they stole my money. And then I'm going to take that letter back to the next expo in September.
And try to
I
sell it.
was going to, I texted my good friend Corey, the biggest Yankees fan I know.
Okay.
He just put it in my face in 2009. I've never, forgotten. And I said, and I texted him a picture of this, and he recognized it immediately. He's like, he even said, he looked at the signatures, he's like, that's 47. And I was like, yes, it is. I was like, I was going to give it to you.
I was going to give
And I really was.
No.
But then I found out how much it's worth, and you can't have it. So,
Better hope your friend doesn't watch this.
All right.
so
So,
he was all right with it.
all right.
So that's going, we're going to the next expo. And
Perfect.
anyway, it's kind of
All right. That was great to
Good.
show us.
Yeah,
I
that was
really
actually
appreciated
really
that.
Cool. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Jordan.
There's a base under this with a mirror. It's
Okay.
there's a stand. I didn't bring it with me, but you could put spots on it, and it will glow
Oh.
on your mantelpiece. if you
Wow,
want.
that's pretty cool.
Well, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
As a baseball fan, I appreciate that. So, thank you very much, Mr. Jordan. Thank you. And we'll maybe make that a full-time segment coming up. But
Yeah, maybe.
we are pulling up on 20 minutes here, so
Oh my
we're
goodness,
going
we
to
gotta
begin.
hurry
We're
up.
going to begin to wrap up here. But before we do, some current events happening kind of in the sports world. Ben Simmons returns to the Wells Fargo Center tonight, so he's going to hear a lot of that tonight, I'm sure. We'll see if he files the grievance. We'll find out. But yeah, also day number 99 of the MLB lockout. Next week we'll talk about spring sports, and our baseball team will be on the field. So that's they do
Yeah,
not
wow.
negotiate a contract. So, what?
Tennis.
And tennis, yeah, okay, well, I was relating it to baseball. All right, Mr. Goulet, yes,
And
tennis, lacrosse, everything will be on board. I was just bringing up baseball with the lockouts today, number
Dave,
99.
what's wrong with
I
you?
hope they figure it out, though. So today seems like a good day to figure it out. So if you're watching, like Rob Manfred, if you're watching, come on, buddy. Let's end this here, right? All right, let's get to the way that we always end it, Santino. We're already in the fourth period, so we'll see what happens.
Miss Carmine, what letter day is it?
Let me make sure my volume is up here.
Today is D-Day.
All right.